I'm Liv.
I'm Savannah. We're here in Minnesota, and we're going to interview each other.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Hey, so would you like to start?
Liv, how are you feeling today?
Ooh, I'm PMSing out of my mind. I had Oreos for breakfast. I haven't cried, but I have just been grabbing hunks of sourdough and then swooping it in butter. Yeah.
How's that form of self-soothing helping?
It actually is.
Okay.
Carbs cure almost every ill.
Isn't that the truth?
Ain't about the truth. Yeah, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. Yeah, we're in our last little sprint of 4 months before we hibernate, so I'm just trying to get outside as much as possible and enjoy it with people I love.
Yeah, of course.
I'm feeling peaceful, content.
How'd you manage that?
You know,
In this economy?
getting sober certainly helped.
Oh my God, did it ever. Did it ever.
Yeah. How was that for you, your getting sober experience?
I had, like I always say, it's so difficult to make friends as an adult. And it turns out the solution is rehab.
It's like summer camp for adults.
Yeah, nothing really manifests or manufactures intimacy at warp speed, like sitting in a group of sobbing women discussing their deepest, darkest secrets, betrayals, oldest hurts.
Yep.
I mean, you go from total strangers to ride or die besties in less than 2 weeks.
It's magical.
It's magical. Yeah, I guess what would you say the hardest part of that next chapter, right after you got out of rehab, was?
For me, I struggled with other people's perception of me and, what this quote-unquote hiccup in my history book would say about me or how people would interpret that. But after living through it for a few years now, I see it as more of a superpower.
Yeah.
And the people that get it. And I don't find that many people have that much judgment, except for one date where a guy found out I was sober and he said that he couldn't date me anymore because it was too triggering for him. So
I still maintain that was fair. I was like, wow, a guy with emotional intelligence. Good for him.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, you have a great job. You're hot as hell. You're so fun to talk to. And that guy said, you know what, for where I'm at right now, actually emotionally, this one thing is going to be really difficult. So I'm going to swipe left.
Except he did it IRL. He said,
how? Yeah. IRL, even more impressive, honestly. I stand.
Yeah. Very humbling. What about you? What are you excited for or what was the hardest part for you after that?
I'd say definitely the getting those besties, and then you get out of that bubble, you get out of the rehab in the middle of nowhere, and you've got this freedom, and you and I, of course, absolutely crushed it. And then some of our friends didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just watch these people that you're all of a sudden very close to start using again and do these absolutely insane things, often jeopardizing the sobriety of other people in your circle in the process.
And friendships.
And your friendships. And you have to be, okay, judgment is not the appropriate response to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just such a complicated, emotional response.
Yeah.
That you want to have the empathy. You also want to have boundaries.
How do you care for them without enabling them? And how do you help them without doing it for them? It's a lot to balance. And
Separating the person from the action.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you're separating who you are yourself with the things that you've done. And it's like psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to have that love for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty complicated.
Yeah.
It was pretty difficult.
Now that we're on the other side, what are you most excited for in your future? Now that we have a future again, what are you most excited?
Wild, right?
What are you most excited for in your future?
Oh my God, going to the dentist. Yeah. Going to the dentist without getting any of the good pain meds.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's going to be so great. I think, should I ever give birth and be completely barred from fitting an epidural, lest it trigger me into fentanyl addiction. Apparently that's what epidurals are.
Yeah.
It was not a fun day. I found that out. Yeah. How about you?
What am I most excited for? I think when you're in addiction, you lose sight of how long life is and how important it is to build a life that you love every day. And I think when you're in addiction, you're just kind of living for the next high on a day-to-day basis. So I'm excited to feel energized to build a life that I love. I didn't have that before I got sober. I felt kind of like I was decaying already.
Yeah.
So I guess the energy that comes with getting sober and feeling like, what am I going to do with this new lease on life? So,
And like, I guess I always wonder this for all of us. How do you feel about just sort of living, embodying, espousing this ridiculously cliched rhetoric where like half the things out of our mouths are now the things that you find printed on a wood sign in a kitchen, like live each day to the fullest.
yeah.
Right? Love like it will be your last. I'm not sure what that even means.
Yeah.
But like,
The live,
how
laugh,
do you...
loves of it.
Because I'm like, wow, this is real. These promises are coming true. And then I kind of like feel like a douchebag
Yeah.
for saying that.
It's hard to like, I'm a huge skeptic. So once you get into AA or any sort of group think sort of environment, I have some skepticism being like, is anyone using critical thinking here?
Yeah.
But so it is funny after you spend some time and you're just kind of, you do see, and I think this is just the way the world works with ebbs and flows of good and bad things, but you do kind of see these promises come true of just like you have your health of brain and body. So you do get, your life is just better, you know? So the promises come true because you have your health in a really holistic way, I think.
What's that one thing that happened in sobriety that happened because you were in sobriety that is still so batshit insane you can't stop thinking about it?
The first thing that came to mind is I had a really interesting conversation with Kevin Hart and Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, oh my God, I remember that.
Regarding my sobriety.
Ladies and gentlemen, the woman Chelsea Handler herself said was hot enough to be a porn star.
Yeah, that was quite the accolade that I'm going to wear around for a while. So I think, you know, not saying my story is inspirational, but I think just anyone who makes it on their side of addiction, there's something to learn from each and every one of our stories, I think. So that's besides the point. But I'll flip the question back to you. What's the craziest thing that's happened on this side of the coin for you?
Definitely going to a meeting and having to choose whether or not to hold the hand of the man with mold on his teeth or the man who was actively tripping and had been because I saw him at the drop-in earlier that day. Like, that was 8 hours previous.
Which direction do you go?
It was, and like, I'm still so curious. What did he take? And it's probably good. I don't know, because my second follow-up thought, because I'm an addict, was I kind of want to try that.
Oh, that's funny. That brings up a question, though, that I find is very interesting. Or one of my favorite things to know about other addicts is what still triggers you, if you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, free time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so strange after meetings because it doesn't really come up in your day-to-day. I go to work, I hang out with my friends, everything like that at a meeting, and we're talking about drinking, and this is the Midwest in America in our current culture. So I'll pass like 5 liquor stores on the way home, and I'm noticing them, and I probably haven't all week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so strange.
Like, you're more acute to the fact that you can't have it, so you see it everywhere because you're trying to avoid it, but you see it because you're trying to avoid it.
Yeah. And then honestly, again, PMS, because it's sugar, right? Alcohol is sugar.
Yeah.
And so usually I'll just get ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty good, I mean, it's a pretty good trade-off, right? Like you have the bad feeling, but then you get an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
I feel proud of yourself for having it.
I think that's all I ate for like the first 6 months of sobriety was Ben and Jerry's fish food ice cream. And that was the only thing that felt as comforting as my old substance.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. So do you have any gossip?
I'm afraid it would get out to the people that shouldn't hear what it is. Which brings me to another question about recovery, which I think was one of my biggest questions. So should anyone ever hear this, maybe if they're curious about getting sober, maybe they would have this question too. What was the biggest misconception about using rehab to get sober, or what was the most helpful thing about it? What was the best part about it? How would you cut anyone who's nervous to take that step if that feels too serious or they don't know enough about it? What would you say about it?
I got there and I felt like, and a bunch of us felt like this wasn't going to work, right? It wasn't that I had been miserable with my drinking for years. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to keep going, but I was doing it anyways. And I got to rehab and I was like, I cannot see how this is going to work. And it can't fix your brain. Like you do have to make the decision that this is going to be your priority. Right? You have to put in that consistent effort and take it seriously. You do have to want it. Mm-hmm. But it did work.
Yeah.
And nothing else was going to. So I guess just like the fact that there are things out there that will work.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
It is possible.
Yeah.
To stop doing these things that are ruining your life.
Yeah.
Or engaging in other ways. Otherwise, yeah. What about... We've got about a minute left, so... is there a misconception or anything you want to wrap up with?
I thought it would be a little bit more structured, like almost not quite jail-like, but a little bit more like deprived of happiness. And what I was happy to find is that it was filled with a lot of connection. And just, it's so nice if you're struggling with addiction. It is so nice to be with other people who know what that's like and to talk about it. It's so nice to not feel isolated in that physical or mental state, and just healed together in a way in a secluded environment full of all the tools you can need. So yeah, it was the best choice I think we could have made for our lives. I'm proud of us.
Yeah. Oh my God, we should be so proud of each other.
I'm proud of us, Liv. Yeah. This has been a blast.
It's been a blast. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew Studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.